Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract success effortlessly, while others work just as hard but never quite break through? And what if I told you the difference isn't talent, luck, or connections, but something much simpler that you can control right now? Something that, once you understand it, will completely change how you see yourself and your potential. Because here's what most people get wrong about success. They think it's about working harder, getting more education, or waiting for the perfect opportunity. But research from psychology and neuroscience shows that your mental attitude literally shapes the opportunities you see and the actions you take. Imagine your mind as a magnet that either attracts or repels the things you want in life. And this isn't just positive thinking nonsense. This is backed by decades of research showing that your brain's reticular activating system filters reality based on what you believe is possible. So when you have what researchers call a positive mental attitude, you literally start noticing opportunities that were always there, but invisible to you before. Think about someone who believes they're unlucky. They wake up expecting bad things to happen, and guess what? They find evidence everywhere to confirm that belief. They stub their toe and think, here we go again. They miss a green light and feel like the universe is against them. But here's the fascinating part. Someone with a different mental attitude experiences the exact same events, but interprets them completely differently. They stub their toe and laugh it off. They miss a light and use that moment to listen to music or think about their goals. The external circumstances are identical, but the internal experience and the results that follow are completely opposite. And this is the first principle we need to understand. Your mind has two sides, like a coin. One side attracts success, health, wealth, and happiness. The other side repels these same things and attracts failure, sickness, poverty, and misery. And the incredible truth is, you get to choose which side faces up every single day through your thoughts and attitudes. Now, let me share something personal with you. I used to wake up dreading the day ahead, feeling like life was something that happened to me rather than something I could control. And this victim mentality kept me stuck for years until I discovered something that changed everything. I learned that successful people throughout history weren't born with special advantages. Many of them actually started with incredible disadvantages. There was a man born into poverty whose father died when he was young. He had to work manual labor as a child just to help his family survive. He had less than 1 year of formal education. He failed in business twice and had a nervous breakdown. He lost multiple elections before finally succeeding. And that man was Abraham Lincoln, who became one of America's greatest presidents. Or consider someone born with severe physical disabilities, unable to walk or use their hands normally, told by doctors they wouldn't survive. Yet this person went on to achieve remarkable success, not despite their limitations, but by developing an unshakable mental attitude that refused to focus on what was impossible and instead concentrated on what could be done.
And these aren't just inspiring stories. They reveal a scientific principle that researchers have studied extensively. When you focus your conscious mind on a specific goal with emotion and belief, your subconscious mind goes to work finding ways to make it happen. Your brain starts filtering information differently. You become more alert to opportunities related to your goals. You develop ideas and insights that seem to come from nowhere, and you find yourself taking actions you never would have considered before. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds too simple. How can just changing my attitude really change my circumstances? And that's a fair question. So let me give you a concrete example that demonstrates exactly how this works. Imagine two salespeople working for the same company, selling the same product. One salesperson believes that people don't want to be bothered, that the economy is bad, that customers are cheap and difficult. What happens when this person approaches potential customers? They carry that negative energy with them. Their body language is defensive. Their voice lacks enthusiasm. They give up after the first objection because deep down, they expected rejection anyway. Now imagine the second salesperson who genuinely believes they're helping people solve problems, who sees each interaction as an opportunity to serve, who expects success and treats temporary setbacks as learning experiences. This person has the exact same product and faces the exact same customers, but their energy is completely different. They ask better questions because they're genuinely curious. They persist through objections because they believe in what they're offering. And guess which salesperson consistently makes more sales? The research is clear. Attitude affects outcomes more than any other single factor, including experience, education, or even the product itself. And this principle applies to every area of life, not just sales. Whether you're looking for a relationship, trying to improve your health, building a business, or pursuing any goal, your mental attitude determines what you see, how you interpret events, what actions you take, and ultimately what results you achieve. So here's the critical question we need to answer. How do you actually develop and maintain this positive mental attitude, especially when life throws challenges at you? Because let's be honest, it's easy to feel positive when everything is going well. But what about when you face rejection, when you lose money, when relationships struggle, when your health isn't good? This is where most people give up and decide that positive thinking doesn't work for them. But successful people do something different. They have a specific process for managing their mental state. And I'm going to share that process with you right now. The first step is understanding that you cannot always control your emotions directly. If you're feeling sad or angry or fearful, you can't just decide to feel happy and have it magically work. Emotions don't respond immediately to logic and willpower. But here's what does work, and this is crucial. Your emotions always respond to your actions. This is a principle discovered by psychologist William James over 100 years ago and confirmed by modern neuroscience.
If you're feeling unmotivated and you force yourself to act with energy and enthusiasm, your emotions will follow your actions. If you're feeling sad and you force yourself to smile and stand up straight and speak with a strong voice, your brain chemistry literally begins to shift. This isn't about faking it or pretending. This is about understanding that your body and mind are connected in a feedback loop, and you can use physical action to influence mental state. So when successful people face setbacks, they don't wait until they feel better to take action. They take action immediately, which makes them feel better, and they have specific, self-motivating phrases they repeat to themselves. One of the most powerful phrases you can use is simply this: I feel healthy, I feel happy, I feel terrific. And I know that might sound silly or superficial, but there's deep science behind why this works. When you repeat a phrase with emotion and enthusiasm, you're using a technique called conscious autosuggestion. You're deliberately programming your subconscious mind with the state you want to experience. And your subconscious mind is incredibly powerful. It controls your automatic behaviors, your habits, your perceptions, and even your physical health through the mind-body connection. Researchers have found that people who regularly use positive self-talk actually perform better under pressure, recover faster from setbacks, and achieve their goals more consistently than people with the same abilities who use negative self-talk. So this isn't just feel-good fluff. This is practical psychology that you can apply immediately. Starting today, you can begin using this simple technique. When you wake up in the morning, before your mind fills with worries about the day ahead, repeat out loud with enthusiasm: I feel healthy, I feel happy, I feel terrific. Say it at least 10 times and pay attention to what happens in your body. You'll notice your energy shifts, your breathing deepens. You might even start smiling without trying. This is your physiology responding to your thoughts and words. And when you do this consistently for 30 days, you'll be amazed at how different you feel and how differently you respond to challenges. Now, let me be honest with you about something important. Developing a positive mental attitude doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect when it isn't. That's not what we're talking about here. A positive mental attitude means focusing on solutions rather than problems, seeing opportunities in difficulties rather than just obstacles, and maintaining faith that you can handle whatever comes your way. Think about when you face a real problem in your life. Maybe you lose your job, maybe you have a health issue, maybe a relationship ends. These are legitimate challenges that cause real pain and difficulty. A negative mental attitude responds by asking, "Why me?" by feeling like a victim, by focusing on everything that's wrong and all the reasons things won't work out. This makes the problem feel overwhelming and creates paralysis where you don't know what action to take. But a positive mental attitude responds differently to the exact same situation. Instead of asking, "Why me?" you ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of feeling like a victim, you take responsibility for your response, even if you couldn't control what happened.
Instead of focusing only on what's wrong, you also identify what's still working and what resources you have available. And instead of seeing the problem as permanent and overwhelming, you break it down into specific challenges you can address one step at a time. And here's what's remarkable. When you approach problems this way, solutions start appearing. Sometimes the solution comes from your own creative thinking. Sometimes it comes from someone who appears at just the right moment to help. Sometimes circumstances shift in unexpected ways, and people with positive mental attitudes often describe this as luck or good fortune, but it's not random chance. It's the natural result of keeping your mind focused on possibilities rather than limitations. Your brain literally works differently when you're in a positive versus negative state. Neuroscience research shows that positive emotions broaden your thinking and help you see more options, while negative emotions narrow your focus and make you see fewer possibilities. So, by maintaining a positive mental attitude, especially during challenges, you're actually making yourself smarter and more creative when you need those qualities most. Now let's talk about something that might be holding you back right now without you even realizing it. And that's the people around you and the environment you spend time in. Because your mental attitude doesn't exist in a vacuum. You're constantly being influenced by the attitudes of people close to you, by the media you consume, by the conversations you participate in, and by the physical spaces you inhabit. Research on social influence shows that attitudes and behaviors are contagious. If you spend time with people who complain constantly, who see obstacles in every opportunity, who play it safe and criticize those who try to improve, their negativity will gradually infect your thinking no matter how strong your own attitude is. On the other hand, if you deliberately associate with people who are optimistic, who take action despite fear, who support your growth and challenge you to be better, their positive attitudes will strengthen your own. So one of the most important decisions you can make right now is to evaluate your social environment honestly. Ask yourself, are the 5 people I spend the most time with lifting me up or pulling me down? Are they encouraging my dreams or telling me to be realistic? Are they taking positive action in their own lives or making excuses? And this doesn't mean you abandon friends or family who are struggling, but it does mean you need to actively seek out positive influences to balance any negative ones. This might mean joining a group or organization focused on personal development, finding a mentor who has achieved what you want to achieve, reading books and watching content from people with positive mental attitudes, or simply spending more time with those friends and family members who bring out the best in you. And speaking of reading, this is one of the most powerful tools for developing and maintaining a positive mental attitude. When you read about people who overcame incredible obstacles, when you learn psychological principles that explain how your mind works, when you discover strategies that successful people use,
you're feeding your subconscious mind with empowering ideas. Think of it like nutrition for your brain. Just as your body needs vitamins and minerals to function properly, your mind needs mental and spiritual vitamins to stay positive and focused. And these vitamins come from inspirational and educational content that you deliberately expose yourself to. Highly successful people throughout history have been voracious readers, not because they're trying to collect information, but because they understand that their mental attitude needs constant reinforcement. The world throws so much negativity at you every day, through news media, through casual conversations, through your own fears and doubts, that you need a deliberate practice of feeding your mind positive material to maintain balance. So here's a practical suggestion. Commit to reading or listening to something inspirational and educational for at least 15 minutes every single day. This could be early in the morning to set a positive tone for your day, or in the evening to end your day on a high note. And pay attention to how this consistent practice affects your thinking over time. You'll notice that you start seeing situations differently. You'll catch yourself responding with more patience and optimism. You'll find yourself taking actions that previously seemed too risky or difficult. Now, I want to address something that might be making you uncomfortable as you listen to this, and that's the question of whether you really can change. Maybe you're thinking, I've always been a pessimistic person, or I've tried positive thinking before and it didn't work, or my circumstances are different and these principles won't apply to me. And I understand that resistance because change is uncomfortable. Your current identity and beliefs about yourself feel true even if they're limiting you. But here's what research on neuroplasticity has discovered. Your brain is not fixed. It's constantly rewiring itself based on your thoughts and behaviors. Every time you think a thought, you strengthen certain neural pathways. Every time you take an action, you reinforce certain patterns. This means you literally have the power to rewire your brain by changing your thoughts and actions consistently over time. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. Your current patterns were formed over years or even decades, so it will take consistent effort to create new patterns, but it absolutely is possible. And the people who succeed are the ones who keep trying even when they don't see immediate results. They understand that developing a positive mental attitude is like building physical strength. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be strong. You go consistently over weeks and months, and gradually you notice changes. And the same is true for your mental attitude. If you apply these principles consistently, you will see changes in your thinking, your emotions, and your results. So here's what I want you to do right now. Think about one specific area of your life where you've been struggling. Maybe it's your career, maybe it's your health, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's your finances. Whatever area comes to mind, I want you to examine your current mental attitude about that area. Be brutally honest with yourself. When you think about this area, do you focus more on what's wrong or what's possible?
Do you believe things can really improve, or are you just going through the motions? Do you take responsibility for your results, or do you blame circumstances and other people? And most importantly, are you willing to change your mental attitude about this area even if it feels uncomfortable at first? Because here's the truth. Your current attitude is producing your current results. If you want different results, you must adopt a different attitude. And the beautiful thing is that once you change your attitude in one area of life, that change tends to spread to other areas. Success builds momentum. Confidence in one domain increases confidence in others. And before you know it, you're not just improving one area, you're transforming your entire life. Now, let's talk about how to set goals in a way that actually works. Because most people set goals incorrectly and then wonder why they don't achieve them. They make vague wishes like, I want to be successful, or I want to be happy. But these aren't real goals. They're just pleasant thoughts. A real goal has 4 specific characteristics. First, it must be definite and specific. You need to know exactly what you're aiming for. Not, I want more money, but I will earn X amount by this specific date. Not, I want to lose weight, but I will weigh exactly X pounds by this date. The more specific you are, the more your subconscious mind can work on finding ways to achieve it. Second, a real goal must have a deadline. Without a deadline, a goal is just a dream that you'll get to someday, and someday never comes. But when you set a specific date, you create urgency, and your mind starts organizing your time and actions differently. Third, a real goal must be written down. There's something powerful about writing your goals on paper. Research shows that people who write their goals are significantly more likely to achieve them than people who just think about them. Writing makes your goal concrete and real. It moves it from the realm of fantasy into the realm of planning. And fourth, you must review your written goals regularly, ideally every morning and every evening. This keeps your goals at the front of your conscious mind and ensures your subconscious is constantly working on them.
Now, when you set goals this way, something interesting happens. Obstacles that seemed impossible start to feel manageable. You begin to see resources and opportunities you never noticed before, and you find yourself taking actions that move you toward your goals almost automatically. Now, here's something crucial that most people miss. You don't need to know how you'll achieve your goal when you set it. In fact, if you already knew exactly how to achieve it, it wouldn't be much of a goal, would it? The how reveals itself as you take action and maintain a positive mental attitude. Think about any time you learned something new. When you first started, you had no idea how you would master it. But you took the first step, then the next, and gradually you developed skills and knowledge you didn't have before. Achieving goals works exactly the same way. You set a definite target, you take action toward it, you learn and adjust as you go, and eventually you arrive at your destination, often by a path you never could have planned in advance. Now, let's address fear, because fear is one of the biggest obstacles to success.
Research has identified several basic fears that hold people back. Fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of losing love, fear of physical pain, fear of old age, and fear of death. And these fears can paralyze you if you don't learn to manage them. But here's what you need to understand about fear. It's just an emotion. It's not reality. You can feel afraid and still take action. In fact, courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is taking action despite fear. And every time you act despite fear, you become stronger. The fear loses its power over you, and you build confidence in your ability to handle difficult situations. Successful people feel fear just like everyone else, but they have a different relationship with it. They don't see fear as a stop sign. They see it as a sign that they're pushing beyond their comfort zone, which is where growth happens. So when you feel fear about taking an action, that's actually a good indicator that the action is probably worth taking. Now, obviously, we're not talking about reckless behavior that puts you in genuine danger. We're talking about the psychological fears that hold you back from pursuing opportunities, making investments, starting businesses, having difficult conversations, all the things that could improve your life, but feel scary because they're unfamiliar. And here's a practical technique for dealing with fear. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Seriously, think through the worst-case scenario. Usually, when you examine it honestly, the worst case is not nearly as bad as the vague anxiety you feel. Maybe you lose some money, but you won't starve. Maybe someone will criticize you, but you'll survive. Maybe you'll fail, but you'll learn something valuable. And once you've identified the worst case, ask yourself, what's the best that could happen? What if this works out even better than you hope? What if this opportunity changes your life? What if you're more capable than you think you are? And finally, ask yourself, what's the most likely outcome? Usually the most likely outcome is somewhere between the worst and best case. And when you see that, fear loses its grip, and you can make a rational decision about whether the risk is worth taking. Now, we're at a point in this journey where we need to talk about taking action, because everything we've discussed means nothing without action. You can have the most positive mental attitude in the world, the clearest goals, the best strategies, but if you don't act, nothing changes. And this is where so many people get stuck. They learn all this information, they feel inspired and motivated, but then they go back to their regular routines and never actually do anything different. So I want to give you a simple but powerful tool that will help you overcome procrastination and inertia. It's a 2-word phrase that you can use as a self-starter whenever you know you should do something but you're hesitating. The phrase is, do it now. And I mean that literally. When you catch yourself putting something off, when you know you should make that call, send that email, start that project, have that conversation, whatever it is, say to yourself with emphasis, do it now. And then immediately take action. Don't think about it, don't analyze it, don't make excuses, just do it now. And here's why this works so well. Hesitation kills more opportunities than failure ever will. When you hesitate,
Your mind fills with reasons why you shouldn't act. Doubts and fears multiply, and the simple action that could have taken 5 minutes becomes this huge thing you keep putting off.
But when you train yourself to respond to do it now by taking immediate action, you bypass all that mental resistance. You build a habit of decisive action that serves you in every area of life. Now start small with this technique. Don't try to revolutionize your entire life overnight. That's a recipe for failure. Instead, use do it now for small things throughout your day. When you wake up and the alarm goes off, instead of hitting snooze, think do it now and get up immediately. When you finish a meal and need to clean up, instead of leaving dishes for later, think do it now and clean them right away. When you think of someone you should call or message, instead of adding it to your mental to-do list, think do it now and make that contact immediately. And as you build this habit with small things, you'll find it becomes automatic. And then when you face bigger opportunities or challenges, you'll have trained yourself to take action instead of hesitating. Now, I want to share something personal about the times I've applied these principles in my own life. There have been moments when I faced decisions that scared me, opportunities that seemed too big, situations where the easy choice was to play it safe and stay comfortable. And in those moments, everything we've talked about comes together. I would check my mental attitude and deliberately shift to positive focus. I would review my written goals and remember why I was pursuing them. I would repeat self-motivating phrases to build my emotional state. I would use do it now to overcome hesitation, and I would take action despite fear. And you know what happened? Sometimes things worked out exactly as I hoped. Sometimes they worked out differently but still led to good outcomes. And yes, sometimes I failed and had to try again. But in every case, taking action with a positive mental attitude moved me forward, while hesitation and negativity would have kept me stuck. And this is what I want for you. I want you to look back a year from now and be amazed at how much you've grown and what you've achieved. I want you to become the kind of person who sees opportunities where others see obstacles, who takes action while others hesitate, who maintains faith and optimism even during difficult times. And this isn't about becoming someone different. It's about becoming more of who you really are, beneath the fears and doubts and negative programming you've accumulated over the years. So let me ask you, what would your life look like if you had an unshakable positive mental attitude? If you set clear goals and pursued them with enthusiasm? If you took action despite fear? If you surrounded yourself with positive influences? If you persisted through setbacks, knowing they're temporary? Take a moment right now and really imagine that version of yourself. See how you would stand and move and speak. Feel the confidence and energy you would have. Notice how you would treat other people and how they would respond to you. And here's the exciting truth. That version of you already exists as a possibility. The gap between where you are now and where you want to be isn't as big as you think. It's not about becoming a completely different person with different circumstances. It's about making small adjustments to your thoughts and actions consistently until they become your new normal. And you can start this process right now, today, this moment. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need more time or money or education. You just need to make a decision and take the first step. So here's what I want you to do as soon as this video ends. Take out a piece of paper and write down one specific goal you want to achieve. Make it definite with the deadline. Then write down 3 actions you can take this week to move toward that goal. They don't have to be huge actions, just 3 specific things you can do. And then use the do it now principle to take the first action immediately. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until you feel ready. Do it now while you're inspired and motivated. And as you take that first action, pay attention to how you feel. Notice the sense of empowerment that comes from deciding and acting instead of just thinking and wishing. That feeling is the beginning of momentum. And momentum is one of the most powerful forces in human achievement. Once you get moving in the right direction, each step becomes easier. Each success builds confidence for the next challenge. And before you know it, you're achieving things you once thought were impossible. Now, I know some of you watching this are thinking, but what if I fail? What if I try these principles and they don't work for me? What if I'm the exception? And let me address that directly. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the process of success.
Every successful person has failed more times than unsuccessful people have even tried. The difference is that successful people see failure as feedback, as information about what doesn't work, so they can adjust and try again. They don't interpret failure as evidence that they're not good enough or that success isn't meant for them. They interpret it as a temporary setback on the path to inevitable success. And this is another aspect of positive mental attitude. It's not about never facing defeat, it's about how you interpret and respond to defeat. When you face a setback, do you say, "I failed, so I'm a failure"? Or do you say, "This approach didn't work, so now I know what to try differently next time"? That difference in interpretation makes all the difference in outcome. And here's something that might surprise you. Some of your biggest breakthroughs will come right after your biggest defeats. Because defeat forces you to think differently, to try new approaches, to develop strengths you didn't know you had. There's actually a principle that every adversity carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. You just have to look for that seed and plant it. So if you've experienced failures or defeats in your past, don't see them as evidence that you can't succeed. See them as preparation for the success that's coming. See them as tuition you paid in the University of Life. And if you apply what you learned from those experiences with a positive mental attitude, those past defeats become your greatest assets. Now, let's talk about something that successful people do that unsuccessful people rarely do.
And that's helping others. There's a principle that the more you give of what you want, the more you receive. If you want love, give love to others. If you want success, help others succeed. If you want wealth, find ways to add value to other people's lives. And this isn't just karma or spirituality, there's practical psychology behind this. When you focus on serving others and solving their problems, several things happen. First, you develop skills and knowledge that make you more valuable. Second, you build relationships and goodwill that create opportunities. Third, you shift your focus away from your own fears and limitations, which frees up mental energy. And fourth, you create what's called a magnificent obsession, a purpose larger than yourself that motivates you to push through obstacles that would stop you if you were just pursuing selfish goals. So ask yourself, how can I use my talents and resources to make other people's lives better? This doesn't mean sacrificing your own success. It means finding ways to create win-win situations where you benefit by helping others benefit. And when you approach life this way, success stops feeling like something you have to fight for. It becomes the natural result of the value you're creating in the world. Now we're getting near the end of our time together, and I want to make sure you leave here with absolute clarity about what to do next. Because inspiration without action is just entertainment. You might feel good for a few hours or days, but then life returns to normal. And I don't want that for you. I want this to be a genuine turning point where you look back and say, that was the moment everything changed. So here's your action plan. First, decide right now that you're going to develop and maintain a positive mental attitude no matter what. This is not a try it and see if it works decision. This is a commitment. Make that commitment to yourself right now. Second, write down your definite major goal. The one thing that if you achieved it would make the biggest positive difference in your life. Be specific, set a deadline, and review it morning and night. Third, start using self-motivating phrases like, I feel healthy, I feel happy, I feel terrific. Say them out loud with enthusiasm, at least twice a day. Fourth, apply the do it now principle. Whenever you catch yourself hesitating or procrastinating, train yourself to take immediate action. Fifth, evaluate your social environment and make changes if needed. Spend more time with positive people and less time with negative influences. Sixth, read or listen to something inspirational and educational for at least 15 minutes every day. Feed your mind the way you feed your body. And seventh, look for ways to help others and add value to their lives. Make service part of your success strategy.
Now, if you do these 7 things consistently for the next 30 days, I guarantee you will see changes in your life. You'll notice you feel different. You'll catch yourself responding to situations more positively. You'll see opportunities you were missing before, and you'll start getting results that previously seemed out of reach. And if you continue for 90 days, these practices will become habits. They'll stop feeling like something you have to remember to do and start becoming just who you are. And at that point, success becomes inevitable because you're no longer fighting against yourself. Your thoughts and actions are aligned and pulling in the same direction. Now, before we finish, I want you to drop a comment right now telling me one specific action you're going to take today to apply what you've learned. It could be writing down your goal. It could be using a self-motivating phrase. It could be reaching out to someone positive in your life. Whatever it is, write it in the comments, because when you publicly declare your intention, you're much more likely to follow through. And I read every comment, so I'll be there cheering you on and answering your questions. And if this video has given you value, if you can see how these principles could change your life, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. It helps this message reach more people who need it. And make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because in the next video, we're going to dive deep into specific techniques for setting and achieving goals faster than you thought possible. We're going to talk about the science of visualization, the power of written plans, and how to create a personal success system that works for your unique situation. You're not going to want to miss that. So click subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. But most importantly, I want you to know this. You have everything you need right now to succeed. You don't need to wait for perfect circumstances. You don't need someone to give you permission or opportunity. You have within you a sleeping giant of potential. And that giant awakens when you decide to think with a positive mental attitude and take action despite fear. So make that decision right now. Decide that from this moment forward, you're going to focus on possibilities instead of limitations, solutions instead of problems, what you can control instead of what you can't. And when you make that decision and back it up with consistent action, your entire life will begin to transform. I've seen it happen thousands of times with people from every background and situation, and it can happen for you too. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Thank you for being open to these ideas. Thank you for having the courage to consider that maybe, just maybe, you're capable of far more than you've been giving yourself credit for. Because you are. You absolutely are. And I can't wait to hear about the amazing things you're going to accomplish. So go take that first action right now. Do it now. Don't wait. And I'll see you in the next video where we'll continue this journey together. Until then, keep that mental attitude positive, keep taking action, and remember that your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. Make today count. You've got this.